Joining us now, he has stepped into the 1K club. He is Coach K, the Duke head coach, and Coach joins us now. Coach, first of all, congratulations on 1,000 victories.
Yeah, thanks. I'm glad that it happened and that it's now behind. We can get on to the regular season.
Well, let's go over the 308 losses, all right? Can we start with
Sure.
that? Where do you want to start?
Do we have time?
Well, let's just. You want to start at 308, or you want to start at 1, and then we'll just.
Sometimes in order to have great wins, you have to have painful losses.
Most painful, aside from losing a championship. Which one?
What's that? I'm sorry.
The most painful loss you had, aside from losing, say, in the championship game or in the Final Four.
All of them are painful, and they become more painful the older you get. And really, they're very painful. And I think if I had one loss that I could turn into a win, it would be in 1986 in the NCAA championship game when we lost to Louisville, because that team, when they were freshmen, were 11-17, and then they were 37-2 going into the championship game, and we lost by 3 and to Louisville. And if I could change something, I would change that one thing, because I really loved that. Now, I love my teams, but that team was the blueprint for what we've done here for the last 30 years. And Dawkins, Allery, Billis, Henderson, and Amaker, with Ferry and King, Billy King, and Quinn Snyder coming off the bench, and just an amazing group of people.
Not the best player in Duke history, but the most important player in Duke history that maybe changed the culture of Duke basketball was who?
Well, Dawkins was the most important, because he was the first, great named, and then he turned out to be as good a player as ever played here. National Player of the Year, a lottery pick, and Johnny made it possible for other great players to say, hey, maybe I can trust this guy, trust this school and program with my career. And so I think the fact that he was the very first one, and then not only how he played, but then he came back as an assistant, and now he's doing a heck of a job at Stanford as a head coach. So I would say Johnny. Although I've had 7 National Players of the Year at Duke, the most of anybody, and Hurley and Grant Hill were not National Players of the Year. So I can go through a number of them who weren't, who were in the conversation. So I've been fortunate to have a lot of outstanding players, and that's how you win, Dan. I mean, you think you do, you're good with your show just because of you. We should have a talk. Those guys behind you are pretty damn good, and not to knock you, but
I think you did. Stop it over there. These guys are applauding. They're giving you a standing ovation.
Well, they never get credit for anything.
Oh, my God. Oh.
They never get credit. I mean, really, the only reason that I wanted to be on today was really to kind of talk to you about how you might help your team a little bit more. That it's not about you, man. It's about us. So. But anyway, that's probably another time. We can do that privately.
I got 2,000 wins, Coach, not 1,000. Just to let you know.
Well, you have a lot more than 308 losses.
That is true. You were a great scorer in high school. You go to West Point, where Bob Knight is teaching defense, obviously. But then you go to Duke, and you're trying to attract kids that, everybody wants to be in the NBA. So there's sort of that. You're, a tough-minded guy, defensive-minded guy, but you were a scorer in high school. How did you balance that in what you taught? Because I always looked at Duke as a great defensive team, but you've had some great offensive players as well.
No, we've had a lot of great players. I give my guys a lot of freedom. I think my guys are not afraid to shoot, and And we don't have a system. We devise a system of offense each year based on the people we have. So you're never trying to fit in. Like, what position does Grant Hill play? Well, he plays everywhere.
Yeah. And
so he has to be given an opportunity to play everywhere. And so that's what we try to do. And overall, it's been really good. And I think players see that, and they saw it with Dawkins right away. And then Allery on that team was a first-round pick and really one of the outstanding players to ever play here. So I had two unbelievable scorers on that team, and then a third one in David Henderson, who, especially in the last 3 minutes of the game, could take a game over.
Who's the player who you never had to tell to shoot? That player loved to shoot more than any player you ever had.
Reddick.
Oh, J.J. Reddick.
Yeah,
that was a quick answer.
No, well, and believe me, I agreed with him.
Yeah. I think he's underrated, Coach. I think J.J. Reddick as a college player is actually underrated.
Well, he's the National Player of the Year.
I still think he's underrated. One of the purest shooters historically that I've ever seen.
Historically, and not only that, Dan, he was never fearful, and every defense was designed to stop him, and he almost did better in opponents' arenas, not just ours. He really put on some amazing shows.
Did you ever feel sorry for him that he got abused by the student, the fan base on the road?
I always was concerned about it, but he liked it,
He did.
And then he got all of that, and so none of the guys on the team got it. So he could handle it. If they gave it to the team, maybe some kid on the team would not be able to handle it, but JJ was able to. Very, very well, by the way.
Do you, when you keep winning, I don't know how you say, okay, I've had enough. If you weren't successful, it's hard, I think, for an athlete to walk away when you're not doing well, or if you are doing well. What about you?
Well, I think it's not just winning or losing. I think what you have to look at is, are you willing to pay the price of preparation? And because you don't just win, it's how you prepare to win. And we prepare to win. We're not the only ones, but we prepare to win very hard, and there are a lot of sacrifices that are made. And as you get older, you have to say, hey, am I willing to give that amount of time to preparation and the emotional preparation and everything? And that it's a lot. And I'm not saying I'm not willing to do it. It's just that, to me, that would be the question, not about how many wins you have or how many championships, because if you don't give the preparation, then you cheat the game. And if you're cheating the game, you're cheating the kids that you have the honor to coach. And that's a thing a coach should never do.
It almost seems like coaching the Olympics gave you a rebirth, or gave you a different outlet or a different challenge. Am I reading too much into that?
No, I think I don't know, rebirth, but it gave you new knowledge. And I'm in, at that time, I was in my late 50s. I'm now 67, and I've been doing it for 9 years. I'm in my 10th year, USA, and I learned a lot. And I continue to learn a lot from Jerry Colangelo, from the other coaches who I work with, and from the great players that I have the honor to coach, it's stimulating. Like, oh boy, I didn't know that. Oh, is that what you're doing now? Hey, that's an interesting way of defending that, and so there was a lot of new knowledge that came in, and that you got to keep learning, whatever profession you're in. By the way, are you listening? Just so you're listening, you have to keep learning no matter what profession you're in.
No matter what you're doing. Okay. By the way, I have Notre Dame winning tomorrow night against you.
No, they're good. They're probably favored to win, and they have. Mike Bray's done a great job with his team, and they're older, and Grant and Connaughton are. They're old, great players.
Yeah, they're a good team.
And they're an outstanding team. Offensively, especially, they can put up a lot of points. I think they're the most efficient offensive team in the country right now. So coming after the 1,000 and going there, and then we have to go to Virginia. This is you go from
Yeah.
it's kind of an interesting week.
Can I get the tie from the 1,000 victory game?
No, you
just
can't.
to put in the man cave? Wait,
no.
Well, what are you going to do with it? We hang the tie?
I'm going to wear it again, probably. Because it's a nice tie.
How about your socks from the 1,000 victory game?
No, I would never give someone my. You throw old, Okay. Nothing. You won't.
I get
anything.
nothing. I got nothing from that historical day in Madison Square Garden.
Well, you weren't there. If you were there, I would have given you some.
I had a little thing called the Super Bowl to cover.
Well, no, I'm not knocking you. I'm just saying.
It felt like okay. I didn't get an invite.
Well, you guys get in free for everything, so you don't need
I would have paid.
Invite.
I would have paid to be there.
You get in free, and they feed you.
Would you have hugged me post game if I ran on the floor that afternoon?
If you came from a side where I didn't know who it was,
like I surprised you, and then you turned and
yes.
Okay,
and I
fair
thought
enough.
I thought it was, Quinn Cook.
Okay, that's fair.
That's fair. But yeah, I'm not saying I wouldn't. I'm just saying I think it'd have to be in a certain circumstance.
Okay, all right. Well, good luck. Good luck against Notre Dame, and I'll talk to you after your 2000th win.
Well, I hope before that.
Thank you.
Right.
Thank you, Coach.
Take care.
All right, that's Mike Krzyzewski.